Kris Aquino on a return to ABS-CBN. How I wish life was really that simple. People used to tell the time of day or the day of the week by which Kris Aquino show is airing on ABS-CBN. Hosting talk shows, appearing in blockbuster movies, or dishing out showbiz gossips, the queen of all media was very much part of every Filipino household. It's been almost a year since she announced taking a hiatus from the showbiz industry. Kris barely gets any screen time and fans are worried that the star's career might be coming to an end. As they clamor for the return of their beloved celebrity, fans take turns in commenting on every one of Kris' social media posts asking when she might again have a regular TV show. On February 6, Kris finally broke her silence. In one of her Instagram posts, her IG follower JP41378 shared his thoughts about Kris' current career status. On March 8, 2016, Kris Aquino announced that she will be taking a hiatus from showbiz to spend time with her family and take care of her health and business. In an emotional series of Instagram posts, she reminisced her 2 decades as a kapamilya. "Just like all of you, I love my family. My most valuable life destiny is to be mama to Kuya Josh and Bimbi. And to be a loving, selfless sister to 8 Pinky, Noy, and Vio, a bunso who doesn't give them constant worry because of my health and safety," she said. On September 12, 2016, however, she revealed cutting ties with the network and switching to its rival GMA Undertape Incorporated and APT Entertainment. Invite you to watch the video. Carla Padilla said this after Daniel Padilla gives a message for here. Recently, Carla Padilla celebrated her birthday during one of the episodes of her morning talk show, Magandang Buhay. Her 4 kids were invited as guests in the show. When asked about their birthday messages for their mother, they took it as an opportunity to honor and appreciate her on camera. Carmela, the youngest, expressed that she is very proud of her mother as she is able to take care of all of them despite being a single parent. Maggie appreciated their mother's strength of character despite going through many hurdles in life. When it was JC's turn to give his message, Daniel started teasing him and said they weren't used to express affection towards one another. Carla seconded Daniel's statement and quipped that, when it was Daniel's turn, he gave a meaningful message despite feeling awkward about it. He noted how his mother deserved all the blessings she was receiving as she is a good person and always thinks about others before thinking of herself. The whole scenario sent the audience into laughter and fans couldn't help but enjoy the antics of the Padilla family. Invite you to watch the video. China gets an early win off Trump, but many battles remain. Combining public bluster with behind-the-scenes diplomacy, China wrested a concession from the United States as the 2 presidents spoke for the first time this week, but Beijing may not be able to derive much comfort from the win on U.S. policy toward Taiwan. Several areas of disagreement between the superpowers, including currency, trade, the South China Sea and North Korea, were not mentioned in public statements on Thursday's telephone conversation between President Xi Jinping and Donald Trump. In getting Trump to change course on the One China policy, Beijing may have overplayed its hand. Trump had upset Beijing before he took office by taking a call from Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen, then casting doubt on the One China policy, under which Washington acknowledges the Chinese position that there is only one China and Taiwan is part of it. Trump changed tack and agreed to honor the One China policy during the call, prompting jubilation in China. Beijing had been working on diplomatic ways to engage Trump's team and largely blaming Taiwan for stirring things up. NL4N1FV21K. Laying the foundation for that call had been the low-key engagement of China's former ambassador to Washington and top diplomat, the urbane and fluent English-speaking Yang Jiechi, with Trump's national security advisor Michael Flynn. China was pragmatic and patient. It made every effort to smooth out the relationship, and it paid off, said Jia Kingo, Dean of the School of International Studies at Peking University, who has advised the government on foreign policy. But China also made very clear Taiwan was not up for negotiation, unleashing state media to threaten war and punishment for U.S. firms if that bottom line was breached. China has long described self-ruled Taiwan, claimed by Beijing as its sacred territory, as the most sensitive issue in Sino-U.S. relations. its military had become alarmed after the Trump-Tsai call and was considering strong measures to prevent the island from moving toward independence, sources with ties to senior military officers told Reuters in December. NL4N1ESOVR. A source familiar with China's thinking on relations with the United States, speaking to Reuters last month, said China had actually not been too bothered with Trump's Taiwan comments before he took office, as he was not president then and was only expressing his personal view. If he continues with this once he becomes president, then there's no saying what we'll do, the source said. Tsai's chilled heart. Despite the U.S. concession, military tensions remain. On Saturday, the overseas edition of the ruling Communist Party's People's Daily placed a picture on its front page of Chinese warships about to embark on a new round of drills in the South China Sea, right next to an upbeat commentary about the Xi-Trump call. The paper's WeChat account took a harsher line, saying that with Trump getting back with the program on One China, Taiwan had better watch out. The heart of that Madam Tsai on the other side of the Taiwan Strait must at this moment be chilled to the core, it said. One senior Western diplomat said China had been redoubling its efforts to win over the Vatican, one of a handful of countries to retain official ties with Taiwan. Taiwan says it hopes for continued U.S. support, and one ruling Democratic Progressive Party official told Reuters that the One China policy had not affected previous U.S. arms sales to Taiwan, even as U.S. president's commitment to the island have waxed and waned. Xi has put great personal political capital into seeking a solution over Taiwan, an issue that has festered since 1949 when defeated nationalist forces fled to the island after losing the civil war to the Communists. China has never renounced the use of force to bring Taiwan under its control. But in its relations with Washington, the risk for Beijing remains that its diplomatic win over One China will be short-lived, as Trump will not want to be seen as having caved in. What he's shown the Chinese is he's willing to touch the third rail of U.S.-China relations, said Dean Cheng, China expert at the Conservative Heritage Foundation in Washington. Beijing can't predict what he'll do next, and he's only been in office 3 weeks. What is he going to do on trade and other economic issues? U.S. officials said the affirmation of the One China policy was an effort to get the relationship back on track and moving forward. NL1N1FV1RU. But Trump's change of tack may be seen by Beijing as a clampdown, said Tom Rafferty, the China regional manager for the Economist Intelligence Unit. Mr. Trump is erratic and will not appreciate the suggestion that he has been weak. Additional reporting by Michael Martina, NJR Wu in Taipei and Matt Spatalnik in Washington. Editing by Ranu Gopalakrishnan. Warm welcome for Japan PM's White House visit. President Donald Trump welcomed Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe with a brotherly hug and warm words of admiration, as he ditched previously hard-charging rhetoric toward Tokyo during a White House summit. Trump praised his guest's strong hands, the pair's very good chemistry, and rolled out a White House military honor guard in a remarkable public display of diplomatic affection. When I greeted him today at the car, Trump said after an Oval Office meeting, I shook hands, but I grabbed him and hugged him, because that's the way we feel. The odd political couple had lunch at the White House before heading to Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida for further talks and a round of golf on Saturday. At Palm Beach Airport, the pair were welcomed by a swarm of black SUVs, and a group of onlookers wearing red Make America Great Again hats. Dozens of Palm Beach residents lined the sidewalks along the route to Trump's estate, photographing the motorcade and waving American flags. The sporting gambit recalled the diplomatic exploits of Abe's grandfather, Prime Minister Nobusuke Kishi, who once donned a polo shirt to play with avid golfer President Dwight Eisenhower. Abe is in the United States on a similar charm offensive. Then, the topic was post-war reconciliation. This time, the Japanese leader is trying to build a personal rapport with the mercurial new U.S. president and head off simmering disputes. Ties have been strained by Trump's willingness to question U.S. defense commitments and his rejection of a trans-Pacific trade deal. Plans under consideration in the White House propose a substantial hike of import tariffs that could have a serious impact on Japanese manufacturers. Abe dodged questions about the trade deal, instead dispatching a slew of compliments. Donald, Mr. President, you are an excellent businessman, he said, praising Trump on everything from his meteoric political rise to his golf game. "My scores in golf are not up to the level of Donald at all," Abe said self-effacingly. Very deep bonds, Abe's efforts appeared to have paid off. After some tough anti-Japanese rhetoric on the campaign trail, Trump embraced long-standing defense agreements and free, fair and reciprocal trade. "We're committed to the security of Japan," Trump said. "The bond between our two nations and the friendship between our two peoples runs very, very deep. This administration is committed to bringing those ties even closer." Japan's biggest business lobby, known as Kaidenran, hailed the strengthening of personal relations of trust between Prime Minister Abe and President Trump. In a statement, Trump offered reassurances the U.S. would come to Japan's defense if China were to seize the disputed Senkaku Islands, known as the Diaoyu in China. In a joint statement, the pair said they oppose any unilateral action that seeks to undermine Japan's administration of these islands, comments that are sure to rile Beijing. Although Abe has pushed ahead with efforts to boost Japan's military capabilities, Tokyo still relies on U.S. security guarantees. In a test of Trump's transactional approach to diplomacy, Abe floated the idea of building a Japanese-designed high-speed rail link that could take Trump between the White House and Trump Tower in New York in an hour. Early Friday, Abe told business leaders that U.S.-Japanese commerce had been win-win and highlighted the hundreds of thousands of American jobs created by Japanese investments. "Most budget cars sold by Toyota and Honda are produced in U.S. factories by American workers," he said, noting that U.S. investments by Japanese firms total $411 billion, generating 840,000 jobs. Trump has cast himself as a change agent willing to rip up existing agreements and relationships to put America first. While his defense secretary had traveled to Japan to send reassuring messages about the durability of the relationship, until now Trump has showed little inclination to play nice. Inside the White House, foreign policy is sometimes treated as little more than a tool to frame Trump's image at home. The Trump administration has sent mixed signals about the relationship thus far, said Michael Green of the Center for International and Strategic Studies. For Abe, a strong relationship with the United States is critical given the threat from North Korea's ballistic missile and nuclear weapons programs and China's rise. On the issue of China, however, Abe and Trump may find common cause. Tokyo was often concerned about President Barack Obama's willingness to work with Beijing. Trump is expected to take a tougher line. "We will work together to promote our shared interests, of which we have many, in the region, including freedom from navigation and defending against the North Korean missile and nuclear threat, both of which I consider a very, very high priority," Trump said. Thank you for viewing videos. My channel regularly posts new videos. If you remember registered channels to receive the latest announcements, please. Thanks.